there somebody here? Don't call out! Down here, all right. Are you in shelter? All right, nobody's hurt?
Those tense moments after a tornado obliterated a house in Iowa. Those were people running to help someone buried underneath all that rubble. More than a dozen tornadoes have been reported there in the last 24 hours, and the damage is so extensive, we still don't know how many people are dead or missing. I'm Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. And right now, it is an all-out search and rescue effort across Iowa for victims and survivors in the aftermath of, get this, at least 19 tornadoes that were reported there yesterday. And Greenfield, Iowa, in particular, was hit the hardest by what the National Weather Service is now saying was at least an EF3 tornado, which means wind speeds of up to 160 miles an hour. This bird's eye view gives you a scope of the damage with entire homes, neighborhoods, businesses that were ripped to shreds there. And we know that the storms were deadly, but it is still unclear exactly how many were killed because rescuers are still searching for survivors in the middle of all that debris. And that includes everything from knocked over wind turbines to overturned semi-trucks. Iowa has now seen the most tornadoes of any state so far this year, but it's not just Iowa. Right now, a big stretch of the country is dealing with some sort of severe weather from New York to central Texas, where at least 2 tornadoes have already been reported today. NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns is standing by with the forecast. But first, let's go to NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa in Greenfield, Iowa. Maggie, the images coming out of Greenfield have been staggering all day long. What kind of damages are you seeing? I mean, what behind you, that is, it's hard to comprehend.
I know. It's insane. It's insane. I mean, and this is like block after block here in Greenfield. Like entire neighborhoods are gone. Homes are just like in pieces. We've got people here going through their homes. And then you can see we've got cleanup crews. We've got power crews. Back in the distance there, that brick building, that's the hospital here in town. That was also damaged. Yesterday, volunteers had to move patients and people who were injured to a lumber yard where they could be treated. Today, the triage center, we're told, is the local high school. So, I mean, it's just kind of chaos here on the ground. And then we're hearing horror story after horror story from people who lived through this. Earlier today, our colleague Shaq Brewster talked to one woman who says she was sprinting down to her basement, trying to get to the bathroom as the tornado was roaring into town, and that it kind of, in her words, sort of sucked her out of the bathroom, and then her house caved in on top of her. Take a listen to this.
At one time, they didn't think I was down there, and I kept hollering, I am here, but no one could hear me. I just knew somebody would come get me.
You were confident somebody was coming?
Yeah, somebody was coming.
Why were you so confident?
We're a small town, and we all help each other out.
She was so sweet. She's obviously unharmed, thanks to, Gadi, get this, her Apple Watch. That actually set off an alarm saying it looked like that she had fallen. It let local first responders know that she might need help. Indeed, she did. And that's how she says they were able to find her after 45 minutes being trapped under the rubble of her home, screaming, as she said, for help. So, again, stories like that, sadly, just all too common here as we wait for more details on those killed and those injured in these storms yesterday, Gadi.
Thank goodness for her watch. Search and rescue missions right now. Is there still a lot of hope for finding survivors? I mean, you've got basically foundation behind you, and then the debris fields have moved because of everything that came through, right?
I know. Exactly. Officials, if you ask them, they say absolutely there is hope. They didn't want to talk today about numbers when we talk about the injured and the dead. They didn't want to talk about sort of, you know, just the grim outlook of how vast the damage is. They wanted to say, hey, we're in search and recovery mode. We're still looking. We're still going to find everyone we can. One reporter asked the governor and Iowa State Police how many people they were still looking for, how many are still missing. And they wouldn't even give that number. They've been really tightly controlled about the information they're giving media. In fact, today, for most of the day, we were kept out and we were brought in only with a police escort. So, in other words, they say they're being meticulous, going house to house, block to block, making sure they find every single person as fast as they can. And I mean, sadly, Gadi, it is a gargantuan job, clearly, when you look at the scope of the damage here in this small town.
Absolutely staggering. Maggie, thank you so much for being there for us. Let's bring in NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, before we even get into the forecast, I mean, you were watching this on the radar as it was unfolding, and now you're seeing images like this. Is this what you were expecting?
Unfortunately, it was, Gadi. And when you look at that damage, keep in mind that this tornado was moving at 60 miles per hour. So picture, a car going down a highway that can do that amount of destruction that quickly. I mean, it only took 2 minutes for that tornado to go from one side of Greenfield to the other and do all that damage. Some of the residents were saying it was 30 seconds. It was 30 seconds. That was it. It was just like getting hit by a sledgehammer and boom, done, over. And it's just incredible that something can be that strong to peel bark off of trees. You try doing that with your fingers, and like how difficult that is. That's the force of the wind with this tornado. They're saying at least EF3. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever this is going to go up to an EF4, which is range of 166 to 200. I don't know if this will get to that rare EF5, which we haven't had in this country in 11 years, but it'll go higher than EF3. I can almost promise you that, Gadi.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the foundations, I know that's one of the things that they look at. What's been ripped off the foundation? We were just showing so many images there where there is no house, there's nothing anymore. It's just a slab of concrete. So turning now to this big stretch of the country that's seeing some sort of severe weather tonight, what are conditions looking like right now?
Yeah, we've had one violent tornado, but it was out over an open area in West Texas outside of San Angelo, so that's good, and it dissipated before it got to San Angelo. They did have some large hail from that storm in San Angelo, but that was the worst of it, so that's good. So we do have a tornado watch that continues up until midnight. Here's those tornado reports that were outside of San Angelo, and that's it for tornado reports. We do have one tornado warned storm south of Waco, went through Killeen and Temple, Texas. This has had a history of some wind damage and some large hail. If there is a tornado, it would be just south of Rosebud near Cameron. So this little red polygon here, that's where the tornado sirens are going off. So we'll watch that closely over the next half hour or so. The Dallas area is not out of the woods completely. After this next thunderstorm goes through, you should be, but we're keeping an eye on this one. Right now, it's in between Fort Worth. It's about to head over downtown Dallas. It doesn't have a lot of lightning with it. There's a tiny bit of a little hook on the backside of it, but there's no warnings with this. I'll be happy in the next half hour or so once we get this out of that heavily populated area. Shreveport to your south, a severe thunderstorm. This is Louisiana now. So you get an idea. We're talking about just a huge swath of the country that's even dealing with storms today. Tomorrow, we keep it in the heartland from South Dakota all the way down to Dallas to Little Rock. If we get any large hail or isolated tornadoes, likely it would be some areas from Dallas northwards up here to Kansas, possibly around Nebraska. And this is an area that's been hit a couple times lately. And a big heads up, Gadi, as we head towards the holiday weekend, this is the forecast for Sunday. This is already looking like a possible severe weather outbreak, maybe even a tornado outbreak. So as you're making your holiday plans on Sunday from Memphis to Paducah up the Ohio River, Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, even St. Louis, keep in mind there is a chance we could be doing this all over again this weekend.
Wow. And Bill, turning back to Texas real fast, what's going on with all the heat there?
Well, it's getting to be that time of year, right, with the humidity and the heat's pumping up. Ever since Houston got hit by that big storm, the Texas heat has been on, and it's staying on. Temperatures are going to be very warm. San Antonio on Friday, near 99 degrees, and when you add in the humidity, it's going to feel like 110. Same for the Houston area, so people without power. And as we go through Saturday, record highs are possible here, and the heat begins to expand northwards, too, up towards Dallas, and no end in sight even through Sunday. So we call it like in the summertime, Gadi, you'll hear the term heat dome. That is what's setting up over Texas. It means the storms will stop, but you have to deal with the midsummer-like heat and humidity.
Yeah, can't catch a break. Bill, thank you. We're getting some new information on a deadly mass shooting at a family-owned business near Philadelphia. Now, police are saying that a disgruntled former employee showed up this morning at a linen company where he had worked and then shot 5 of his former co-workers, killing 2 of them. NBC's Aaron McLaughlin has the latest.
In Pennsylvania, a community shaken by gun violence.
It's pretty bad.
Tragedy unfolded this morning at a local linen company west of Philadelphia in the city of Chester.
This is a workplace shooting incident. Employee came to work today with a firearm, took out his anger,
and opened fire, killing 2 and injuring 3 employees who were transported to a nearby hospital. Adelina Orozco was there at the time of the shooting. She says workers ran for their lives. Resident James Pierce heard the shots and called 911.
Pop, 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 pop. Went to the door and I looked out. I seen people running out of the building.
Authorities later arrested the alleged gunman in a nearby city. They've yet to name him, but he's believed to be an employee of the linen company. The possible motive is the subject of an ongoing investigation.
The information I have right now is the employee had some issues with fellow employees, but nothing that would lead to what happened today. I mean, this is just everyone's worst nightmare.
Today's shooting now counted by the Gun Violence Archive as the 169th mass shooting so far this year.
It speaks to guns in America. It's heartbreaking. It's tragic. It has to stop.
Tonight, yet another American community in shock and an all too familiar call for change. Back to you.
Aaron, thank you. It's been almost 2 years since that shocking rampage at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, where 19 kids and 2 teachers were killed. And remember those videos of all those officers in hallways waiting, some waiting over an hour to confront the gunman inside? Well, today, the families of those victims settled one lawsuit with the city while filing a new lawsuit against 100 state police officers. And that was over their failure to immediately confront the gunman.
376 at the end of the day to 1. 376 to 1. On paper, it should have been no contest. So what happened? But for 77 minutes, how did this kid hold back 376 heavily armed, trained law enforcement agents?
Such a powerful question there. Let's bring in NBC's Gadi Venegas. Gadi, what are the details in this lawsuit?
Well, Gadi, we should say that the attorney representing the family said they're bringing this lawsuit after the Department of Justice's review that found what they called unprecedented failures in the response by police at Robb Elementary the day of that horrible shooting. So the lawsuit is including 92 Texas Department of Public Safety officers. So they are suing essentially 92 of those state officers in that lawsuit. They're also including the Uvalde School District, the former principal, and the school district police chief, Pete Arredondo, who at the time of the shooting and soon after was heavily criticized because of the response, because of the way he was believed to have coordinated, of course, that response. Now, what the attorney representing the families is saying is that a lot of these officers who responded to the shooting and did not react the way they should have not been held accountable. And the reason why they're bringing this lawsuit is because they want to hold them accountable for what happened that day, Gadi.
We've also heard about this settlement with the city. So what details do we know there?
Right. So they've settled with the city. The families are going to receive $2 million. The attorney made it clear that they were going to settle for these $2 million because they didn't want the city to go bankrupt. So they had capped it at that amount, according to the attorney. Now, that settlement also includes making changes within the Uvalde Police Department, changing the standards, the training, also offering mental health services to the community there. And they're going to create a commission that will be in charge of a memorial that will be created in the city for the victims that lost their life. And they're also creating another commission that will overlook maintenance at the cemetery at the grave sites of some of the victims. There was an issue that the families said really affected them and caused them more grief, according to the attorney, because of the way the grave sites were handled and some of the maintenance that did not take place and the lack of support from the city. So now this settlement includes the city bringing that support. So a commission for this memorial, a commission for the grave sites, and offering more resources. But one of the things, Gadi, that the attorney again made clear was that the city of Uvalde does not have enough resources to deal with all of this. So they do want the state to step in and take more responsibility. And again, the lawsuit also holding the state accountable by including those 92 Department of Public Safety officers in that lawsuit, Gadi.
And when we're talking about the settlement, you said $2 million. Gadi, is that $2 million for all of the victims' families? I mean, we're talking 19 kids and 2 teachers. It's more than 20 families there. Is that $2 million for everybody or $2 million altogether?
Gadi, so that was actually my first question when I heard about the $2 million. So, yes, it's $2 million that will go to the families. That's all the money. Again, the attorney said they capped it at $2 million because the city of Uvalde does not have more money. And essentially, if they would have kept pushing, the city, he believed, could go bankrupt. So the family members of the victims that were there today during that press conference spoke to the media. And a lot of them said they're not really doing this for the money. They're doing this because they want those responsible to be held accountable. So they want to see a lot of these changes implemented within the school district, within the police department, and they want to see those state officers being held accountable. So yes, they capped it at $2 million for the families, Gadi.
Wow. Gawad, thank you so much. And don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, new police body cam footage shows the moments a call for a mental health episode turned deadly. NBC's Liz Kreutz has the details on that case. Plus, families of hostages held in Gaza release video of female Israeli soldiers taken by Hamas on October 7th. Is this the latest move to turn up the pressure for a ceasefire? And later this hour, the future of AI at Amazon. The tech giant is showing off what they have in store next for Alexa in the months to come. Don't worry, there aren't any Alexa fails like this one. Remember this?
We need an Alexa dog collar. 4 dogs.
Ordering dog food. Ordering dog food.
You can bark all you want. I'm not paying for any more dog food.
Ordering gravy.
Welcome back. A new lawsuit has been filed against Sean Diddy Combs. More on that in just a second. But first, here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. The RNC headquarters in Washington, D.C. was locked down today. Now, this is after someone sent 2 vials of blood to those offices. A hazmat team was brought in early this morning. The suspicious package was eventually cleared, but police are now investigating where that package came from. And a judge is pausing the sale of Elvis Presley's iconic Graceland, at least for now. That ruling saying it's in the public's best interest to slow down any potential sale. The judge even went as far as suggesting Elvis's granddaughter Riley Keough could win fraud claims. She's filed a lawsuit accusing a creditor of falsely claiming rights to the estate. And jury selection started in the state case against Paul Pelosi's attacker. David DePape was already sentenced to 30 years behind bars in federal court, and now he's facing new charges in a California state case where he's pleaded not guilty. And a second person in the U.S. has contracted bird flu, this time in Michigan. Now, this case is linked to dairy cows, and the farm worker regularly was in contact with livestock. He had mild symptoms and now is recovered. There isn't any evidence of human-to-human transmission, and health officials still say the current health risk to the general public is low. And Barbie is making new dolls to honor Venus Williams along with a few other star athletes. Mattel just announced that project today, which focuses on the impact sports has on self-confidence. Williams has won 7 Grand Slam singles titles. And tonight, there's a new lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs of sexual assault. This time, model Crystal McKinney says the mogul drugged her and then forced her to perform a sex act at his recording studio in New York in 2003. She says she felt a moral obligation to speak up now and has filed the suit yesterday in federal court. And NBC News has reached out to Diddy's representatives for comment, but we have not heard back yet. But remember, this is just the latest in a string of legal troubles Diddy is now facing. Just a few days ago, he apologized after that disturbing video surfaced of him attacking his ex-girlfriend Cassie back in 2016. That apology coming after he denied accusations of sexual assault in another lawsuit, writing, "Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged." Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Angela Sinandela. Angie, so what are the specific allegations of this lawsuit, and is there any similarity to some of what we've seen in some of these other lawsuits?
Yes, absolutely, Gadi. So the allegations here are that she was drugged and she was sexually assaulted, and that she was then sent home in a taxi. And during the assault, she was allegedly fully incapacitated due to alcohol use, and due to the allegation that the marijuana that she was smoking seemed to have been laced with other drugs that resulted in her full incapacitation. Now, in terms of similarities, yes, I mean, we've seen sexual assault allegations previously. Now, this lawsuit, though, is a little different from Cassie's, for example, in that it's brought under a different statute, the New York City gender-motivated Violence Protection Act, which allows for these lawsuits to be filed until March of 2025, whereas Cassie's was filed under a similar state statute that is now expired. But yeah, this is just seemingly the beginning, Gadi. Even though we've seen 7 lawsuits filed so far, in these types of cases, it can often just be the beginning of a tidal wave.
Yeah, and Angie, this is the latest in 6 lawsuits now that he's been named in, right? What happens next? It feels like there's all kinds of momentum. The spotlight is on him. What are we going to see happen in a courtroom?
Well, that's the big question, right? Because none of these have actually made their way to trial. So often in cases like this, like we saw quite immediately with Cassie, there can be a settlement. And the point of the settlement is often to prevent a lot of these details from coming out in court, from being litigated on both sides, especially when it's a celebrity with a name like Diddy, who has a lot to lose, not just in terms of possible criminal prosecutions, but also in terms of any other endorsement deals he has, which we have seen he has lost as a result of these allegations that have been brought. So what will happen is that if these lawsuits don't end up getting settled, they will set a date to trial. They will go in front of a jury, and then it will be up to a jury, like we saw, for example, in the E. Jean Carroll case with Donald Trump, to determine whether or not this sexual assault actually happened and what sort of damages should be awarded to any of these victims, Gadi.
Well, such disturbing allegations that we will continue to follow up on. Angela, we appreciate you. And here in Los Angeles, a family in Koreatown is calling for an independent investigation after police shot and killed a man the family says was nonviolent and suffering a mental health episode. LAPD says that man was holding a knife, and this is part of the body cam footage released by LAPD of the confrontation in early May. These are the moments that immediately led up to the gunfire. Take a look.
Hey, this is the police. Mr. Young, come out.
Drop it. Now, we stopped the video right before shots were fired and the man was killed. LAPD also released edited footage showing Young Yang holding what appears to be a kitchen knife inside of his parents' home before the officer opened fire there. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Young Yang's parents say their son was not violent and only wanted to be left alone. NBC's Liz Kreutz joins us now. Liz, the parents, actually, they're the ones that called for help, right? For their son, who they say suffered from mental illness. How did this escalate?
Yeah, so what we know is that actually the family says that their son began having a mental health episode the day before this shooting, that he has schizophrenia and bipolar, and he began hearing voices, and he had locked himself into his parents' apartment there. I think an important distinction here is that the parents did not call police. The parent called for mental health help, and they called mental health professionals from the Los Angeles County Mental Health Department. Their mobile response team showed up, tried to address the situation. At that point, they were not able to de-escalate or figure out a solution, so it was the mental health professionals that called for police. Some police arrived. They tried to get the situation under control. Nobody was able to enter the home at that point, so they called for more backup in police. At that point, more police arrived. They asked for the keys to the apartment from the family. The family handed over the keys. And then, as you saw, that is when an officer opened the door to the apartment and within 10 seconds had fired his weapon and fatally killed this man who did have a kitchen knife. It appears that he did have a kitchen knife in his hand. I think there's a dispute, though, between what the police say happened and what the family really says happened.
And what is the family saying happened? This is difficult because, you know, obviously hindsight is 2020. But given the context of all the de-escalation that we saw beforehand and that the police weren't originally called, mental health services were called, right. What is the family saying they wanted to see happen?
Well, I think the family thought that they were doing the right thing. They were not calling police. They were calling mental health professionals. I think at one point, and the family did speak out exclusively to NBCNews.com with their reaction. And they are saying, A, for the mental health aspect of this, the professional, they believe that that person maybe, I think they even said something like, perhaps that person needs to study more, is what the father said, if that person felt threatened by their son. They say, and they dispute in the video where the mental health professional said that this man was violent. The family is saying he was not violent. He was shouting, but he was not not being physical in any way. This is despite the fact that he had that knife. And they said here, the father said, I gave them the keys to the police so they can have access to handle the situation peacefully and quickly. And they did not expect, I think, that they would use lethal force in this situation.
What is the official response from LAPD?
So LAPD has not responded to this. The officer involved here has not responded to this. But LAPD did release portions of the body camera footage online, and in there is a spokesperson that speaks about what happened, walks through what happened, and does say that they are continuing this investigation. The chief of police will then make a recommendation to the board of police commissioners, and that board is going to evaluate what happened and determine if this was a situation where lethal force should have been used.
There's always so much comprehensive context to your reporting. Really appreciate this.
Thanks.
And coming up, a man was just fined for trying to belly flop on an orca, and we wonder why they're sinking human boats. We've got all those details, but first, you got to see this. Toronto Blue Jays fan Liz McGuire was hit by a foul ball Friday night above her right eye. Gosh, that is a lump. McGuire was talking to a friend when that ball came flying at her at like 110 miles an hour, and then she later posted on X that she didn't even get to keep the ball that hit her. Don't worry, though. Topps mailed her 110 baseball cards featuring her and the bump. She might have been concussed, but at least she gets to keep her own trading card, which is kind of a consolation. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. The latest from on the ground in Israel in just a second. But first, let's take a quick look around the world. Russia's military has started doing drills with nukes, and it is the first time they've publicly announced using tactical nuclear weapons, which include air bombs that are usually used on the battlefield. A Kremlin spokesperson says comments made by France's president and British and U.S. officials prompted those nuclear drills. And speaking of the UK, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has called a surprise general election on July 4th. Sunak was required to hold a vote by January 2025. His announcement now starts a 6-week campaign that could see the end of a 14-year-long Conservative government. And in New Zealand, a man has been fined for trying to body slam an orca whale. Yeah, the same type of whales that have been ramming human boats. The video shows a 50-year-old man jumping off of a boat into the water where an orca was swimming with its calf. It is illegal to swim with killer whales in New Zealand, and the video has left officials stunned. That man was fined about $365. And today, a Sherpa mountain guide climbed Mount Everest for the 30th time, and it was his second climb this month. His name is Kami Rita, and he has officially set the world record for most climbs of the world's highest mountain, extending his own record from last year. Rita first climbed Everest in 1994 and has been making the trip nearly every year since. Congratulations, Rita. And there is some big news in Europe. Norway, Ireland, and Spain now say they will all recognize an independent Palestinian state. And this news is coming as video has been released showing Hamas fighters taking several Israeli female soldiers hostage on October 7th. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez has more, but we want to warn you, some of what you're about to see is graphic.
Tonight, the disturbing footage from October 7th showing Hamas terrorists inside an Israeli military base. 7 female soldiers covered in blood and bruises are up against a wall. They're handcuffed and terrified.
Where from?
18-year-old Liri Albag trying to speak while the women are receiving death threats.
That's what you mean? What? I don't know. What?
The gunmen leering at the women, telling them they're beautiful. The UN has said Hamas committed rape and sexual violence against its victims. It's unclear if that happened in this case. On the video, you can hear gunfire as the women are abducted into Gaza. Of the 7, 1 was rescued and another found dead. The remaining 5 still in captivity 229 days later, including 19-year-old Karina Ariev. We spoke to her sister, Sasha.
What's it like to see your little sister there in her Snoopy pajamas, surrounded by these men with guns?
I think it's a scene, from a movie. I'm at that point that I am begging for people to do something, just get them out of there.
A group representing hostage families releasing the footage, which they say was edited to take out the most gruesome scenes, trying to create pressure for a ceasefire deal. But with negotiations at a stalemate, Ireland, Norway, and Spain saying they'll recognize an independent Palestinian state. The White House says that's the wrong approach to get to peace.
The only way that you are going to achieve a two-state solution that delivers for both Israelis and Palestinians is through direct negotiations between the parties.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also slamming the move, calling it a reward for terrorism and saying it won't stop Israel's war against Hamas.
Sanchez, thank you. And today, Iran's supreme leader took charge of funeral prayers for President Ibrahim Raisi, and tens of thousands lined the streets of Tehran, carrying caskets on their shoulders, chanting "Death to America." Now, the country's acting president was crying during the service, and leaders from around the Middle East paid tribute to the former president, who was killed in a helicopter crash this past weekend. Also there, Hamas's political leader, who Iran has armed and supported as the war in Gaza drags on. NBC's chief international correspondent Keir Simmons has more on that ceremony.
Well, this was perhaps the most substantial day of 3 days of funeral for President Raisi and other officials killed in that helicopter crash. The supreme leader of Iran leading the service, blessing the casket before crowds reached forward to try to touch the coffin and shouted "Death to America." Now, there were many diplomats in attendance, including from the Middle East and from Arab states and from Russia. The Speaker of the Duma, the Russian parliament, attending, told by President Putin before he left that Russia would do anything necessary to help Iran investigate the cause, the true cause of the crash. Russia's foreign minister has already suggested that American sanctions are to blame for what happened. America, of course, describing President Raisi as a man with blood on his hands, and other Iranians who spoke to our partner network, Sky News, say that despite the pictures today, in other parts of Iran, people have been handing out sweets and celebrating, even with fireworks. The Iranian prosecutor telling Iranians that if they do celebrate, that they will be pursued. And a text message sent to Iranians today around the funeral encourage them to attend. So despite the, again, impactful pictures today, perhaps some of it at least was for show.
Keir Simmons, thank you. And still to come, what do you think is the greatest album of all time? Well, Apple Music just released its top 100 list, and some people are not too happy with the top 10 selections. See if your favorite made the cut when we get into that story next. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back, and here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following right now. Another Waymo self-driving car crash has been reported in Arizona, the latest one in downtown Phoenix. Now, police say the car with no one inside hit a pole in an alleyway, and luckily no one was hurt. But it does come as Waymo is under federal investigation for safety concerns. And police in San Diego were investigating a string of attacks on LGBTQ bars as possible hate crimes. 3 people were hurt from pellet gun shots, and at least 4 bars appear to have been targeted. Cops are now looking for any potential suspects who are expected to have used an Orbeez gun in the attacks. And a California man went to pick up his package from the post office when he found a nightmare inside. Yeah, a live rattlesnake was waiting for him, making him question if he has any enemies out there. Apparently, whoever mailed him the snake put cotton balls in the box so postal workers wouldn't be able to hear the snake rattling. Animal control eventually picked that snake up. And it has been a month since those violent pro-Palestinian clashes at UCLA, where at one point violence between protesters and counter-protesters went long into a night, with law enforcement waiting a time to step in and stop it. Well, today, the campus police chief from that time has been removed from his post, with UCLA saying that he has been reassigned temporarily. David Noriega is on set with us to break this down. Okay, so reassigned temporarily. What does that mean exactly?
We don't really know. We don't know where he has been reassigned to. We just know that he's been removed from his post. And it's not entirely surprising, because UCLA was engaged in what they described as a pretty much like a shakeup of their entire security system. They created a new position, a new chief of security position that now oversees the UCLA campus police department. They were undergoing what they described as an investigation or a review of their security procedures. So again, it's not entirely surprising that they would be making personnel moves like this. All of this comes from mostly what happened on April 30th when a group of counter-protesters attacked this encampment. Confrontations ensued. It took about 3 hours for police to step in. Now, what law enforcement has said is that it took that long for enough law enforcement elements, enough officers to show up to properly handle the situation. The person in charge was now ex-chief John Thomas of the UCLA Police Department. He has, in the past, not since this news came out today, but in the past, particularly in an interview earlier this month with the LA Times, defended his conduct that day, said he did everything he could to keep students safe.
Interesting. And meanwhile, we've got the chancellor, one of the chancellors at UCLA. He's heading to Capitol Hill to testify tomorrow, right? What are we going to hear there?
Yeah, Jean Block, the chancellor, is testifying before the Republican-controlled Committee on Education and the Workforce. We've been seeing these hearings since the fall. They're extremely high-stakes hearings for these administrators. Similar hearings led to the resignations of the president of Harvard, the president of UPenn. To me, they really reflect how these protests can't put university administrators between a rock and a hard place. On the one hand, they face really harsh criticism for cracking down on these encampments, which critics say violates students' First Amendment rights, or they face harsh criticism for people saying that they shouldn't have allowed those encampments to happen in the first place. Very few administrators have been able to walk that tightrope, so we'll see if Chancellor Jean Block pulls that off tomorrow.
Got it. David Noriega, thank you so much.
You got it.
And turning now to a case out of Los Angeles, we've got that coming up right now. Donald Trump's hush money case in New York. It might have been pretty quiet today, but in Florida, the former president's legal team was in court trying to get the charges dismissed in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, and it wasn't too long before it turned into a screaming match. NBC News correspondent Dasha Burns has the latest.
Gadi, a lot of developments related to this classified documents case just in the last 24 hours. Let me start with what we saw in this courtroom behind me here today. 2 motions to dismiss before Judge Aileen Cannon. The first focused on Walt Nauta, Trump's longtime body man. There, his defense team alleging that special counsel Jack Smith's indictment of Nauta was, quote, selective and vindictive, saying it was a form of retaliation for not fully cooperating with the investigation. This is where we had a lot of fireworks in the courtroom today. The prosecution, the folks representing special counsel Jack Smith's team, one of the prosecutors getting up, calling the argument of the defense team in this motion to dismiss garbage, calling it a fantasy, getting heated in an exchange with Judge Aileen Cannon. At one point, she told him to calm down. Next, we heard arguments in a motion to dismiss charges against all 3 co-defendants in this case. That's Walt Nauta, that's Carlos de Oliveira, the property manager at Mar-a-Lago, and former President Trump himself. And here, the defense argues that the indictment doesn't have plain language that has distinct violations of criminal law, saying it doesn't articulate distinct crimes. Instead, they argue that this is a personal and political attack against former President Trump. The prosecution, of course, arguing against all of this, saying there's a whole lot of evidence in this case related to that, Gadi. Overnight, there was a trove of documents that were unsealed relating to this case, where we did learn a whole lot more. One of the things we learned is that even after the search of Mar-a-Lago, months later, former President Trump still had some documents marked classified in his bedroom at Mar-a-Lago. The other thing, Gadi, that we learned is we got new images of Walt Nauta carrying boxes out of a storage room at Mar-a-Lago. This picture is from June 1st, 2022, right around the time when Trump's lawyers were tasked with going through materials in the storage room there and finding any classified documents that might need to be given back to the government. A lot more information in those hundreds of pages of documents, Gadi, but those are some key aspects to this case. Those photos in particular, the prosecution says, is more evidence to Nauta being a part of a conspiracy to hide classified documents from the federal government, Gadi.
Dasha Burns, thank you. And move over Rolling Stone, because Apple Music has thrown together their own list of the 100 best albums of all time, and they've been releasing the list in chunks over the last few days. And if you thought things were divisive enough these days, well, today, they dropped the final top 10, and drum roll, #1 spot is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Great album. To Zion definitely made me cry like a baby, but greatest of all time, according to Apple, and ahead of Michael Jackson, the Beatles, Prince, Frank Ocean, who round out the top 5. Meanwhile, Nirvana, Kendrick Lamar, and Beyonce are a few rounding out the back half of the top 10. Obviously, that list has been trending all day on X with all kinds of fights and hot takes on artists that got snubbed. So joining us now to break it out and break it down is Stephen J. Horowitz, Variety's senior music writer. Stephen, thank you so much for being with us on this one. Okay, so Variety is Variety, Rolling Stone is Rolling Stone, right? But who's Apple to come up with this list? And, I mean, who's Apple? We want names. We want the names of the people who have declared these to be the greatest albums of all time for all of humanity. Do you have any insight there?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of very experienced and knowledgeable folks who work over at Apple Music. There's Ebro Darden. They have a whole editorial team and programming team filled with journalists and experts and all of these things. And they collaborated hand in hand with industry experts and some artists to basically make a democratized list of what they consider to be the 100 best albums of all time. And here's where we are.
Democratized list. I mean, this is one of those things where you're like, okay, shoot, would I actually agree with an AI list that probably knows my tastes way better than these people do? Or do I want actually humans making a list like this? Is this hoopla exactly what the point of this list was? Because it does seem like it is generating all kinds of hype.
Look, if you're going to create a 100 best albums of all time list, of course you know that it's meant to stoke the flames of social media ire. Like, you know that people are going to get upset. That's kind of the purpose of these lists, isn't it? I mean, bestowing this honor upon all these artists is wonderful, but you know that it's going to get people talking, and it brings a lot of attention to the brand. So, I mean, of course they're going to do something like this.
Okay, so I hate to ask this, but this took up like 40 minutes of our meeting, one of our editorial meetings today. Do you agree with the list, some of this list? What are your top 3?
I mean, I have my own top 3. I'll get there shortly, but there are a lot of choices. I hear the words recency bias being thrown around quite a bit, which is a term that's applied to a very short memory when it comes to thinking about music in the scope of history. And if you take a look at the albums that are on this list, yeah, I think you can ascertain that there is some recency bias. You see records from Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift and SZA, and no knock on those albums. They're wonderful. But compared to things like Led Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses, it's really hard to rank them and compare them because they just are of a different era. But as for my top 3, since you asked, my #1 is Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, which is probably the most influential pop record of our lifetime, followed by Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. And rounding that out is, of course, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, which we all know the story. We all heard the music. It is a certified classic.
All 3 are definitely not even in my top 20, so I will go back and I will get a little bit more cultured.
We'll have to have a chat about that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. They'll be hitting my, and I hate to say it, my Spotify, because there is a time where you're like, no green, no green, no green, and then Apple users go to green when it comes to Spotify. And that brings me to this question. I mean, like, there's so much hype around music streaming, and a lot of it usually has to do with Spotify, and a lot of it has to do with last year's Spotify Wrapped, for example. Is this Apple's Music play at that?
I mean, Apple Music has their own year in review function that they also roll out. Obviously, it's not as big as Spotify's, but, you know, it does bring a lot of attention to Apple Music, as we've seen the past, 9 days as they've rolled out this list. Yeah, it's kind of like their way to say, we have a stake in this. We have a strong opinion. Our opinion matters. Come look at us. Come use our service, et cetera. So, I mean, it's kind of a win-win for them, even though it's drawn so much backlash from the internet.
Got it. And last question. What was the Fleetwood Mac album you wanted me to listen to?
Rumors. Have you not listened to rumors?
Rumors. Got it. All right. All right. We will download this right after this.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'll get back to you on the review.
All right.
And following breaking news from the Department of Justice right now, which according to Reuters is planning to sue Live Nation Entertainment as early as tomorrow. Now, Live Nation owns Ticketmaster, and the company has been heavily criticized by fans and lawmakers after that botched 2023 Taylor Swift tour. And according to this report from Reuters, the DOJ could ask the court to break up Live Nation as a company, which merged back with Ticketmaster in 2010. And before we go, it's time for the future of everything. And Amazon's Alexa is getting a bit of a makeover. And of course, AI is going to be involved. We'll explain. So stay tuned. And tonight in the future of everything, we are looking at the future of AI at Amazon. But first, we're turning to a different company that's also in the shopping business. That is MasterCard. Earlier today, MasterCard announced it'll use generative AI to detect compromised credit cards way faster than before. And the company is saying that AI is going to help it scan billions of cards to see patterns in fraud and allow banks to replace stolen cards before they're used illegally. This comes only a couple of weeks after Visa also rolled out an AI solution to protect against financial crimes. And as we follow the world of electric vehicles, a new study in Britain is showing pedestrians are twice as likely to be hit by an electric or hybrid car compared to gas-powered cars, with an even higher risk in urban environments. So what's behind it? Well, for one, EVs are quieter, and the researchers also say younger and less experienced drivers are more likely to own an electric car. And now over to Amazon, the tech giant's answer to the AI wars. Enter Alexa. In 2020, well, now Amazon has big plans for its decade-old signature voice assistant, and obviously it's going to have to do with supercharging it with AI. But if you think about it, Alexa is already like the OG computer voice that millions have already gotten used to talking to for years now. So what does the next level of Alexa even look like or sound like? NBC's Kate Rooney has the details.
That's right. Amazon is planning to give Alexa a major AI overhaul this year and is going to be adding a monthly subscription to offset some of the cost associated with that. This is according to people familiar with Amazon's plans. Those sources telling me the company is planning to unveil a new version of what is now a decade-old voice assistant later this year. Sources tell me it's not going to be part of Amazon's Prime subscription and that the price for this souped-up version of Alexa hasn't been decided yet. This would potentially position Alexa to be better compete with this flock of new voice-driven chatbots from OpenAI and Google. There's some irony here, though. Alexa really was the early mover in voice-driven tasks. If you think back to 2014, consumers were wowed by this, but those capabilities haven't quite kept up with the leaps we've seen recently in AI in general. Last week, OpenAI, for example, announced its latest version of ChatGPT that can do significantly more and go significantly deeper than Alexa. For example, can translate conversations into different languages in real time. Google launched a similar AI feature, and people still mostly use Alexa and Apple's Siri, for that matter, for much more basic tasks. Think, setting a kitchen timer or announcing the weather. Sources tell me those shiny new AI chatbots in recent months have increased pressure on the Alexa division within Amazon, which announced significant layoffs last November. The Alexa group was really seen as the darling of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, but it's now subject, I'm told, to much stricter profit imperatives since Andy Jassy, the new CEO, took over in 2021. A source close to Amazon's new CEO, Andy Jassy, has told me that he is privately frustrated with Alexa's current capabilities and that Alexa can't do simple tasks like read live sports updates, for example. Amazon declined to comment on the Alexa plans, did tell us the voice assistant is a priority for the CEO, and Andy Jassy did address some of this at the annual shareholder meeting for Amazon today, saying that their goal is still to, quote, build the world's best personal assistant. He pointed to its foothold with 500 million devices out there and Alexa-enabled devices. Amazon saying today that we have, quote, a significant chance to be the leader here, and says that they are in the process of building a more expansive AI model to run under Alexa. Gadi, back over to you.
Kate, thank you. I just want my Alexa to know that when I say play true colors, He needs to play True Colors from the Trolls soundtrack for my daughter and not the other one because it's always a fight every single night. Finally tonight, there is a Colorado high school graduate making history, and Jillian Ball is the first person with Down syndrome to receive the honor as the commencement speaker for her class. Her speech captivated everyone, even brought some to tears, and Rhea Jaw from our Colorado affiliate 9 News gives us tonight's Best of Us.
Yeah, I am graduating tonight. I got my cap. It basically fits, actually. Look at that.
Jillian Ball is a confident young woman.
Look at that.
But when she was born, her parents, Alexis and David, didn't know what to expect.
The NICU doctor said words that are burned in our brain. Your daughter is showing several physical markers for trisomy 21, which is the medical term for Down syndrome. There was a lot of fear because we just didn't know what her journey was going to be like.
I got these things on my gown.
Jillian showed them they had nothing to fear.
If we knew then what we knew now, we would not have been as scared.
When the school held tryouts for this year's commencement speaker, Jillian didn't even think twice.
Because I like to let people how great I am.
And she's jumping up and down. I tried out to be a speaker and I was chosen. I was chosen.
My name is Jillian Ball.
Her speech is about showing gratitude through what she calls her thank you force.
I am thankful for you accepting me for who I am.
So are you nervous?
No, I'm not. I think I just want to do it.
Join me in welcoming Jillian Ball to the stage for our final student commencement speech.
This is the moment Jillian has been waiting for.
When I was growing up, I learned that it is important to be thankful for the gifts that we life. Class 2024, and remember your thank you force, and just keep being awesome.
And Julian, tonight you are at the top of our thank you fours. That does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.